Barry, you started the Starwood Hotel business. What do you make of this deal? It's like watching your child grow up.
And disappear.
Disappear.
I think it's an interesting merger for both companies. I thought the stock was sort of overvalued in the 80s. I got a lot of calls from hedge fund friends of mine that were asking my opinion. I was very surprised, though, because I know Arnie had said they weren't going to do it. But I think they did a smart transaction for them because they used stock. And they're obviously trading at a multiple premium to Starwood Hotels, and they're spinning off the low multiple timeshare business. So there were enormous synergies in the trade to an industry player. And I thought it would be either Hilton or Marriott initially, and then both companies sort of downplayed their interest in the company. I think as Arnie changed his mind. I spoke to him this morning, too, so he called me and we chatted about it. It's actually, people have asked me like how I feel about this because I ran the company, founded it, ran it for 10 years. I think it's good for Starwood. I think the world is going this way in scale. And while I hate to see the company sort of not be around anymore, I also didn't want to see him flounder. You want to see your kid grow up and find a good partner and get married and have lots of little brand babies. So I think Arnie's done an amazing job at Marriott. I think he'll do an amazing job with the company.
Why were they floundering, or are they floundering? Do you blame Airbnb?
No. I actually, I would blame lack of focus on the basics. I mean, we innovated and always created noise around the customer, changing the industry with W Hotels, the Heavenly Bed. And I think they basically did a lot of technology innovations, but forgot about the customer, and their brand started losing market share. And they didn't keep it fresh. And there were two successive CEOs to me, and they've kind of, three if you include Adam, and they kind of, they didn't celebrate our unique heritage in the space. We were doing really well in innovation and brand marketing, and they didn't go that way. So we had all the brands reporting separately to me, and so they didn't overlap. They got rid of that in the name of sort of, more efficiency, but they lost their brand integrity of the individual brands. And they stopped innovating the way they should have. So.
But why does brand integrity matter at a time I bring up Airbnb again?
Yeah,
it's brandless.
That's why it matters, because the only way to fight Airbnb is to have an emotive experience, something you stay in a W and you feel differently about yourself. You stay at a Baccarat hotel or a One hotel and you feel differently about yourself. You're saying something about yourself. And you're not saying that with Airbnb. I mean, you're staying in someone's apartment or somebody's home or somebody's whatever. So I think that, at least at this evolution, is a different play.
You bring up the Baccarat Hotel, which makes me think Chinese bidders, and that's why I was surprised to see today's deal not go to a Chinese bidder. Do you believe it didn't happen because at this point they have to get government approval and they were hamstrung by that?
So I was contacted by several Chinese bidders, and they're just slow. And I think the process at Starwood, it's hard to run a company without a permanent CEO, and I think, it is still possible they could show up. I mean, there's now a real bid for the company, and I think they don't want to be...
Then you think it's not over? You think that this
No, I have no
done?
idea. I thought when Marriott and Hilton dropped away that the only bid would come from a sovereign wealth fund, and I thought it'd be Asian. I thought it'd be Chinese probably, because it is a global business. There aren't many of these companies. They're rare jewels. They don't really exist, and this is one of the great growth industries of the world. If you think the middle class is developing, travel is like what they will do for sure, and no technology is going to remove the desire of somebody to go to a beach.
But for you, it's always been a real estate play. Do you think these hotel operators not owning the real estate, that's hurting their business? When you own the real estate, you've got the base.
No, I think they have to add value. I think it's like retail today. You see Macy's earnings, and I guess Nordstrom, and then this morning, I guess somebody else reported that was disappointing. You're really going to have to wow the customer, or they're going to do it online. So I don't think that. I think the bar's raised for travel companies. I do think the scale of this merger was done to fight the OTAs, the online travel agents, and also to fight the potential threat of Airbnb. I mean, with 1 million rooms, do you really want to leave the Starwood system? Do you really? You can now stay at the W's and get your points. And they're two very powerful loyalty programs merging together. I mean, that's the way this industry, you're going to see global consolidation probably. This probably won't be the last deal, because all of a sudden Hilton, which was pretty big, is now smaller.
Okay, then. You think we're going to see more M&A? Because Airbnb and the threat of it is only getting bigger. Who's next?
You could. Well, there's an obvious candidate that people thought was interested in Starwood. There's control stock, and there's other people. That would be Hyatt, if you're guessing who I'm talking about. But I don't think, I think they're doing fine. I think you have to think about the next 20 years and how the business is going to evolve. There just aren't many of these public companies to buy. But it is a big industry. I mean, you can merge them all together, and the joke is they don't have the market cap of Uber or Airbnb. So I think Marriott's in a different position. They'll have more leverage with the OTAs, and I think that's a business. That was a battle that started with me. Like, were we going to own our customer or Priceline and Expedia? That battle has not played out yet. You're going to continue to see it. I mean, companies try to pull off those systems and they lose customers. If you get big enough, can you actually pull off of Expedia?